let's talk about the team that you cover, the Dallas Cowboys. A difficult week, to say the least, with Dak Prescott obviously breaking his right thumb, going to be out at least 4 weeks. And now they welcome in the reigning AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals, which I think, Dave, will be a pretty angry football team coming in after what was probably the nuttiest game of week 1 between themselves and the Pittsburgh Steelers. What are you looking for in this game? We'll start with the Cowboys defense taking on Joe Burrow and that Cincinnati offense.
I mean, you saw what the Steelers were able to do to the Bengals. That's why they're 0-1. They couldn't protect Joe Burrow, and Joe Burrow didn't take very good care of the football. So, I'm not naive enough to think that Dallas can't make this a game. Like the Dallas defense does a lot of stuff. They do a lot of the same stuff well that the Steelers do. They can get after Joe Burrow. They're a ball hawking defense. They were last year. They got a takeaway against Tom Brady last week, who's one of the hardest quarterbacks to get takeaways from. So I mean, it's going to be on them to keep this game close. Obviously, if the Bengals are just doing whatever they want, I mean, if the Bengals score 28 or more points, the Cowboys are not going to win this game. So, you look at that, and it's really on the Dallas defense, in my opinion, playing at home. I would assume, no offense to the Bengals, but I don't think they have the type of fan base that's going to really take over AT&T the way we've seen with some other teams. So, should have a healthy home field advantage. You can get after the quarterback. Hopefully he'll keep that trend going if you're the Cowboys, where Joe Burrow makes 2 or 3 passes available to you, and you got to come away with them. I think if Dallas is going to win this game, I would imagine they got to be at minimum +1, but preferably +2 in takeaways. I really think at the end of the day, that's the matchup to watch. I mean, Lyle Collins, we're very familiar with his work. I can't wait to see him go against Tank Lawrence and probably Micah Parsons. So it'll be a lot of fun, and I really, like I said, Dallas's best chance to win this game is with its defense putting on a clinic. So we'll see if they're up to that.
We totally agree with you, but let's talk about Cooper Rush, because you've been around Cooper Rush his entire Cowboys career. He won the game in Minnesota last year and was excellent. I mean, 325 yards passing, I believe, touchdowns, the whole 9 yards, come from behind victory. Everybody believes in the guy, but he doesn't have the same weapons from last year at Minnesota. There's no Amari Cooper. There's Michael Gallup's not going to be able to play in this game. He wasn't in that game either, but still, Cooper Rush doesn't have the same. And he also was fighting for his job as a backup in training camp. Can you talk about what he might have to do, or why he's the one for the role right now?
I mean, he's the one for the role because they don't have a better option. That's kind of how the Cowboys have played this the last 2 or 3 years. They've gone for affordable over experience. I mean, actually, we threw it up on our TV show this week. I mean, across the NFC East, if you look at the other backups, Tyrod Taylor's the backup in New York. He started 50-something career games. Taylor Heineke's the backup in Washington. He's started 16 or 17 career games. Gardner Minshew's obviously started plenty of games as the backup for Philly. And then there's Cooper Rush, who made his first start ever last year. And then if it wasn't going to be him, it would be Will Greer, who I think has started 2 or 3 games. I mean, it's not a whole lot better. So, I mean, it is what it is. This is, again, it's the Cowboys look for discounts where they can get them and hope that it doesn't bite them. To be fair to them, they had to start Cooper last year, and he won the game. But
yeah, you know what? I'm going to give you this too, because somebody might ask you this on the show later on, and they say, "Oh, yeah, you're saying that," but they had Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton fell in their lap. Andy Dalton didn't want to leave his family during the pandemic and gave them a hometown discount.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I mean, the Cowboys took advantage of it, but that was a very rare circumstance.
It was rare.
A 3-time Pro Bowler signed for $3 million. That just doesn't happen very often. I don't know the details of Andy's contract as the backup in New Orleans right now, but I promise you he's making more money right now than he was when he was in Dallas. But yeah, I mean, Coop's he's a super even-keeled guy. I know I don't expect him to be flustered. He wasn't flustered playing on the road in Minnesota last year. But to your point, Amari Cooper had 120-something in that game and also made both of the game-saving plays in that final drive to win the game. Made the big juggling catch to get them across midfield, and then he made the game-winning touchdown. CeeDee Lamb, I've seen this going around all day today. That was actually his last 100-yard game. And then don't forget, Cedric Wilson really kickstarted the whole thing.
Yeah.
The offense looked atrocious. I mean, the Cowboys couldn't get a first down. It looked like they were going to lose the game without scoring any points like they did last week. And then Cedric Wilson took a little skinny post to the house from about 70 yards out and really kickstarted the whole thing. So, that's a 120-yard receiver and an 84-yard receiver in that game that aren't there right now. So I don't know if it's realistic to think you can do that again. I think this is going to have to be way more ground and pound. I think they're going to have to really lean on the running game to a degree that might not be fun to watch. And hope that CeeDee Lamb and Dalton Schultz can really put their best foot forward and play much better games than they did last week. More CeeDee than Dalton. I thought Dalton was fine last week. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to imagine that this is going to be a super pretty game. But I think that's the design that you have to follow in these sort of circumstances.
David, before we let you go and get back to Thursday Night Football, any hot college football takes you want to fire off before we get into another weekend of college football, whether it be your LSU Tigers or anything else on your mind in the world of college football?
What else? I mean, I'm on the air in Texas, so.
You got some hot Steve Sarkisian takes for us on what happened against Alabama?
No. Hey, good for Texas. They played a good game. They almost won that game. I don't have any beef with Texas. I'm really, really enjoying the week that Texas A&M is having. Let's put it that way. I'm really, really enjoying. Not only do they get embarrassed on their home field by App State, but all this stuff has come out in the time since, the stuff with the guy, the Yell leader was trash talking App State, and they got like their recruits are complaining about things, and man, I just love it. I love it, and LSU's old quarterback's going to start for them this weekend too, so I'll have an eye on that as well. But
look out.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun. The week the Aggies are having it's been really entertaining for me.
Yeah, App State, I imagine they won't get very many phone calls anytime soon for the next couple of years because they keep out, they almost beat North Carolina. And then, of course,
that's A&M's fault in the first leg. We've come a long way from when App State was like an FCS program when they beat Michigan. Like, they've been a plucky, bowl eligible 6, 7, 8 win team. I mean, that's a nice program. So, I don't know what A&M was thinking doing that, but I bet they won't do it again anytime soon.
Just know Kevin Sumlin through 50 games, 36-14. Jimbo Fisher through 50 games at Texas A&M, 35-15.
I'll say it again. It's so good. I think one of the national columnists, one of the national college football columnists was like, are A&M fans starting to realize that they're being robbed in broad daylight? And I was like,
$76 million.
I don't know.
Man.
And they're stuck with it no matter how good or how bad it gets.
Right.
So, like I said, it's been fun. It's been entertaining.
David, as always, my man,
sir.
Appreciate the time. Congratulations on all of your massive success, and looking for. I tell David all the time. I said, David, you got me to accomplish something that I never thought I would in the last maybe couple of years, and that's to watch FS1. That is what you have done. The power of David Helman on television every day has got me stopping down and watching FS1 because you're on television.
And tell Manuel we said what's up, man, when you step back in the room.
I appreciate that, fellas. Yeah, keep watching so they keep asking me to do it. I appreciate it.